We have a massive update regarding the Dallas Mavericks and the number 1 overall pick. Just the other day during the NBA lottery, the Dallas Mavericks only had a 1.8% chance of winning the NBA lottery and getting the number 1 overall pick. We were either going to be the bottom 4 in the lottery or the top 4. And after all the craziness had settled, everyone's happy that we won. A lot of fans began to get worried that Nico Harrison would yet again have a harebrained scheme to trade away that number 1 pick and possibly go out and get Giannis, possibly go out and get Kevin Durant, or maybe trade to LA yet again and get Bronny James. After the season that the Dallas Mavericks had, a lot of fans are right to be concerned about what Nico Harrison is going to do next. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at everything that's happened this week with the NBA lottery, with what should happen in free agency, and should the Mavericks fans be worried about this pick. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 20,505 subscribers. If you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, especially during this summer, make sure you are subscribed. I'm dropping content back to back to back. And if you don't want to miss a single thing, make sure you're subscribed. But like I said, the Dallas Mavericks, we only had a 1.8% chance. And to break it down even further, we had a tie with the Chicago Bulls. And that tiebreaker came down to a coin flip on who had 1.8% chance and 1.7% chance. We won that coin flip, resulting in the craziest, odd-breaking, just insane reality that we live in of winning the lottery and getting the number 1 overall pick. And like I said earlier, a lot of Mavericks fans are a little bit concerned. They're worried about what is Nico going to do. He traded away Luka to LA without even trying to shop him to other teams and getting a king's ransom for what we should have gotten for Luka. A lot of people are worried that Nico is going to do another deal with LA and trade away that number 1 pick for Bronny James. There's a lot to be concerned about. If we take a look at what has been kind of going on with the Dallas Mavericks and the rumor mill, the Lakers, Mavericks, Spurs, and Heat are expected to pursue Kevin Durant in the offseason. This was just a month ago. As well as we talked about the other day, how they wanted Giannis in Dallas for years. They signed his brother. Just thought I'd point that out. That was Brian Windhorst. So a lot of fans are rightfully concerned on what is it that Nico Harrison is going to do with this pick. Are we safe? Are we actually getting Cooper Flag? I've seen it everywhere on Reddit, Twitter, even in my own comment section. Fans do not believe we're going to get Cooper Flag until June 25th on draft night. On the very first pick of the night, we announced we're getting Cooper Flag, and I totally understand. I'm not necessarily defending Nico, but we can't act like Nico has made bad move after bad move after bad move. You could break it down if you want to, but Nico Harrison, for the most part, has made more good moves than he's made bad moves. But I'm not here to defend Nico Harrison. I'm here to bring you the good news, the news that all Dallas Mavericks fans want to hear. But before we get to that, we do want to remind ourselves that Patrick Dumont reportedly wants more checks and balances in place for the Mavs. Patrick Dumont, wants him, Nico Harrison, to bring in an experienced executive. I think he's realized he's got to have some checks and balances that weren't in place, and at the moment of this recording, we're not sure if there is an experienced executive with Nico Harrison, kind of like a babysitter, to make sure that Nico doesn't yet again cause more riots, more loss in ticket sales and jersey sales, more loss of money from our owners. So we don't know if that person is there yet, but Patrick Dumont definitely made sure to put the word out himself with what the Mavericks are going to do with that number 1 pick. And it was announced just the other day that Tim McMahon said Patrick Dumont, the governor of the Dallas Mavericks, recognizes the gift horse that was delivered to this franchise. The Dallas Mavericks will be picking Cooper Flag with the number 1 overall pick. Now, I know a lot of fans, myself included, just let out a big sigh of relief. We are going to get Cooper Flag. At least that's what they're saying. Who knows what's going to happen between now and June 25th? And a month from now, who knows? Maybe something changes. Maybe they see something that they don't like. Although I'd say I don't care if that man has a leg with 3 tendons less than his left leg. You get Cooper Flag, you get him the surgery, you make things happen. All jokes aside, we should definitely be looking at not just Cooper Flag, but the top 3 to 5 players. We will have private practices and private drills down the road before the draft night, where we're going to work out with these players and see what they got for the team. But I think it's very, very clear. Patrick Dumont said it. I think we all agree that we're going to get Cooper Flag. And I understand there's still fans that don't believe in Patrick. I'll believe it when I see it. I know there's fans out there, but for those that do believe and are happy, let's take a look at Cooper Flag so we can see this new stud, the new young star coming to Dallas. If we take a look right here, Cooper Flagg, the forward out of Duke, standing at 6'9", 205 pounds. The young freshman, he just turned 18 in last December. He actually skipped a grade. He's arguably one of the youngest and yet the best player in this upcoming draft. But a quick summary saying that Flagg is a do-it-all forward who hustles like a madman, makes his teammates better as a passer, and has dialed in a knockdown jumper. He's both the best offensive and defensive prospect in this draft class, making him the safest number 1 pick in ages. It's his growth as a shot creator that will decide if he reaches his all-star floor or soars to his Hall of Fame ceiling. An all-star floor and a Hall of Fame ceiling? Number 1 pick? Sign me up. I want that twice on Sundays. But the comparisons they're saying is to a Scottie Pippen, a Tom Chambers, or a Andre Kurlienko, which is very, very interesting. But for his freshman year at Duke, he was averaging 19.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.3 blocks per game, while also during the NCAA tournament, he led his team in the entire tournament in points, rebounding, and assists. Knowing that we're about to get a forward who can not only get his own bucket, he can score very well, he can get rebounds, he can also pass and create for others. Obviously, we need a guard, we need a point guard to hold things down until Kyrie comes back. I do like Brandon Williams, but knowing that we will be getting Cooper Flagg, who's also a good passer, makes things so much easier. Obviously, it will take time. I don't expect him on the very first night to just put up a 30-point triple-double. It will take time for him to get used to the NBA and get used to this team. But it does make me feel better that we have another player, a very young, talented player with a very diverse skill set. But if we take a look at that skill set and all of his strengths, he's got a lot of them. The first one is his motor and toughness. Flagg never stops hustling. He'll dive for loose balls, take a charge, and fly out of nowhere for rebounds. With such a relentless approach and competitive fire, he sets a tone for the entire team. He's also a vocal leader who communicates on the floor and in huddles, which gives him the potential to someday be the face of a franchise. I love to see it. You've got a lot of great players in the NBA that aren't necessarily the face of their franchise, and they may be the face of their franchise from a talent standpoint, but as far as being the vocal leader, that may not always be the case. You can take a look at Kawhi Leonard, who obviously is a great player, arguably the best player on the teams that he's played for, besides San Antonio, but still, he's never really been seen as a vocal leader. But with Cooper Flagg, we can definitely have that. Now we have our leaders. We got Kyrie Irving. We now have Anthony Davis. And Klay Thompson. Those three alone will definitely be vocal leaders in the locker room. But we're safe to know that down the road, when all our older vets are gone and Cooper Flagg remains, he will definitely be able to take the reins of this team, be that leader, and be that face of the franchise. And the fact that he hustles, we've been in dire need of a hustle, man, ever since we lost Josh Green, so I love the fact that he brings the hustle. But his strengths don't stop there. His defensive playmaking. Instinctive and disruptive help defender with quick reflexes to alter shots and swipe at the ball. His combination of length and timing lets him protect the rim and guard the perimeter, evoking Kurlenko-like defensive versatility, which is amazing. Defense wins championships. We may as well get it tattooed on our arms at this point. That's our new motto. So knowing that he's not just the best offensive player, but the best defensive player in this draft, absolutely love it. But also, his versatile on-ball defense, which is amazing. A lot of people said without Derrick Jones Jr., we have no on-ball defense. But Flagg is a Swiss Army knife without a true position. But that's because he can defend 1 through 5 depending on the opponent. One night, he may be tasked with harassing a quicker guard. Another night, with battling an interior big. For teams that switch everything on defense, this will be incredibly valuable since he can always be making an impact. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, Swiss Army knife, I heard we already got one in Najee Marshall. Now we got another Swiss Army knife. The more I look into the strengths and even some of the weaknesses of Cooper Flagg, the better I like the fit of him on this team. And I understand there were worse teams with better odds that should have got the number 1 pick, but Cooper Flagg probably wouldn't be able to go that far, that fast with those teams. But knowing that he's about to come into the Dallas Mavericks organization that just made the finals 2 seasons ago, and last season it was a wash. We were hurt. It is what it is. But knowing that he's joining this team with all this talent, with all this experience, he has every opportunity to have the best head start to his career than any other player in this upcoming draft. But the strengths don't stop there. 3-level scoring. He has a smooth shooting stroke with a range out to the 3-point line, can hit standstill, catch and shoot jumpers, or create off the dribble. Also excels as a finisher around the rim using crafty footwork and body control to score in traffic when he can't finish emphatically in space. Also, pick and roll creation. Comfortable bringing the ball up and initiating offense as a point forward. He is best in pick and roll and tends to make the proper decisions as a passer, whether looking for kick out or dump off opportunities. And I love to hear that. Knowing we have a forward not named PJ Washington who can bring the ball down, who can play make, who can go in the pick and roll, I see it now. Cooper Flagg, Derrick Lively, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford. Cooper Flagg and the bigs are going to get busy on offense, and knowing that we can trust Cooper to bring the ball down and initiate the offense, maybe we don't need to go out and get a guard. Maybe we just trust the guards that we do have and let Cooper Flagg sometimes play point guard. He can defend the 1 through 5, and I'd argue that he could probably play the 1 through 4. But just continuing, he also has his go-to scoring upside. He's made improvements as an isolation scorer thanks to the progress of his jump shot, showing comfort pulling up from the elbows. The threat of his shot has further made him a threat driving to the basket with his quick first step and long strides, as well as his offensive malleability. Flagg can plug and play anywhere on offense. Need him to serve as an on-ball screener, then roll hard into the paint? Consider it done. He's an athletic finisher who can thrive in that role. Need off-ball duties with spot-up shooting, screening, and cutting? He'll execute at the highest of levels. Want him to crash the glass? Sure thing. Since Flagg is unafraid of contact and has a nose for the ball, and you're probably thinking like I am, what's wrong with this player? What weaknesses does he have? How do you have all these strengths and no weaknesses? Well, like most players, there are some things that need to be worked on, but with Cooper Flagg, they're really non-existent. But if we have to take a look at some of his weaknesses, the concerns would be his jumper consistency. This season at Duke was Flagg's first draining threes at a high level. Is this sustainable? He'll need to prove it. Since it's a vital tool that will determine his ceiling as a player, I'm not too worried about that 3-ball. We'll get him a shooting coach and he'll be absolutely fine. I think that even as a rookie, he'll probably shoot the 3-ball pretty well. As a forward who could be a stretch forward, who could also be a point forward, I'm not too worried about that. But the other concern is his advanced ball handling. He doesn't have great creativity off the bounce yet, which means he ends up taking tough shots or needing to make multiple pivots to get his shot off. He's growing, but the level he ends up reaching will define his ability as a go-to scoring option. And again, I'm not too worried about advanced ball handling. The word there was advanced. He still has ball handling skills, and he can definitely learn and grow in the NBA. No player in college comes to the NBA and is just, okay, I'm totally complete. I'm not going to learn or grow at all. I've reached my peak. Even LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant came into the league and they themselves improved year over year. And I believe the same can be said for Cooper Flagg. Like I said, he's got a lot of strengths, not too many weaknesses, but those weaknesses can definitely be fixed and worked upon and improved upon. I'm definitely excited for this upcoming draft, for this upcoming season, and the future of the Mavericks. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think that Patrick Dumont and the rest of the Mavericks front office are right to keep this pick, or do you still believe we should trade it? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for guys today. Thank you for being part of the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord as well as our Spotify. Links are in the description below. But as always, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.